In the global race for artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and digital power, a new kind of factory is deciding who wins: the data center. Right now, Africa is building them. Quietly, rapidly, and with stakes far bigger than most people realize. The continent is home to 237 data centers across 39 countries, yet it controls just 1.8% of global capacity and produces only 10% of the compute power it consumes. Most African data still lives offshore, processed in Europe, the US, or Asia. But that imbalance is becoming impossible to ignore. Because as fintech scales, governments digitize, and AI moves from theory to deployment, Africa will need over 1,200 megawatts of new data center capacity by 2030. And that realization is triggering one of the most important and least discussed infrastructure build-outs in Africa today. To understand why data centers may define Africa's digital sovereignty for decades to come, we need to go back to the beginning, to when Africa's digital economy was still dependent on someone else's servers.
Welcome to Spotlight in Africa, where we provide the clarity, data, and intelligence investors need to understand Africa's evolving markets.
For years, Africa's digital growth ran on foreign infrastructure. Startups could scale users, governments could digitize services, and banks could launch mobile platforms. But the actual computing power lived offshore. Data traveled thousands of kilometers, increasing latency, cost, and regulatory risk. This wasn't negligence. It was economics. Data centers are capital-intensive, power-hungry, and technically complex. They demand reliable electricity, fiber connectivity, skilled operators, and long-term investment horizons, all scarce resources in many African markets. As a result, Africa entered the cloud era as a consumer, not a producer, of digital infrastructure. But that status quo couldn't survive the next wave: fintech at scale, e-government, and artificial intelligence. And then, almost simultaneously, everything changed. The turning point came when digital demand stopped being theoretical and started becoming systemic. Fintech platforms began processing millions of transactions per day. Governments pushed for data localization. Enterprises demanded lower latency and regulatory compliance. And global hyperscalers started paying attention. Suddenly, Africa wasn't just a frontier market. It was an underserved compute market. Investors, operators, and policymakers realized the same thing at once. Whoever controls Africa's data centers controls the backbone of its digital economy. That realization triggered a new phase, one defined by scale, speed, and strategic positioning. South Africa emerged as the continent's anchor market. With mature power infrastructure and strong connectivity, operators like Teraco, Africa Data Centers, and Vantage began scaling facilities to hyperscale standards, positioning South Africa as Africa's primary cloud gateway. East Africa followed. Kenya, leveraging Nairobi's tech ecosystem and regional connectivity, is positioning itself as an East African cloud and AI corridor. Its geothermal power advantage offers something rare in global data infrastructure: low-carbon, baseload energy. In West Africa, Nigeria became the growth market. Demand surged from fintechs, banks, and enterprises, driving rapid expansion of mid-sized facilities optimized for latency-sensitive workloads, even as power reliability remained a constant challenge. Meanwhile, Ghana began advancing energy-efficient data center parks through public-private partnerships, signaling a more coordinated, policy-led approach. And beneath the headlines, Senegal, Côte d'Ivoire, and Namibia started laying the foundations for the next generation of regional hubs. Then came AI. Cassava Technologies' partnership with NVIDIA marked a strategic inflection point. Spanning South Africa, Kenya, Morocco, Egypt, and Nigeria, The initiative aims to build one of Africa's first high-performance computing networks. This wasn't just about cloud storage. It was about training models, running inference, and keeping AI workloads on the continent. At the policy level, urgency followed. The African Union's 2024 AI strategy made it explicit. Africa faces a growing compute deficit. From a shortage of Tier 3 and IV facilities to fragmented cloud infrastructure.
In an AI-driven world, compute isn't optional, it's geopolitical.
Power remains the sector's hardest problem and its greatest opportunity. Data centers don't just need electricity. They need reliable, uninterrupted power, 24/7. In response, operators are shifting toward hybrid power models, blending grid electricity with renewables and backup systems. Some countries now hold structural advantages. Kenya's geothermal capacity offers rare stability and sustainability. Ethiopia, powered by the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, is emerging as a potential low-carbon digital hub. In a world where hyperscalers are under pressure to decarbonize, Africa's renewable energy assets may become a decisive competitive edge. Today, Africa stands at a critical peak, not of completion, but of commitment. The foundations are visible: growing private capital, stronger regulatory frameworks, rising demand from fintech, governments, and AI platforms, strategic partnerships with global technology leaders. What's being built is more than infrastructure. It's digital sovereignty. It's economic leverage. It's the ability to decide where Africa's data lives and who profits from it. Data centers are the factories of the digital age. And for Africa, they represent one of the clearest opportunities to move up the global value chain, from user to producer, from consumer to controller. The question is no longer whether Africa will join the global data center race. That decision has already been made. The real question is how decisively, how strategically, and who will own the infrastructure that shapes Africa's digital future. Because in the AI era, power doesn't just come from minerals or markets, it comes from compute.
For more intelligence on Africa's economy, finance, and capital markets, subscribe to our channel at Spotlight in Africa.